Yo, what's up, Simply Recipes crew? How you guys doing today? Nick here from machismo.com, and we are cooking live again this week. We're trying to do this every week, if people like it. Hold on one second. I like to get my computer up and running here so I can follow along if there are any comments or anything. Let me just get that going, and I'll also post the link to this awesome recipe in the comments so you guys can see it. If you're interested. This is a fun one. It is a good recipe. It's close to a classic chicken parm, but it's a little bit easier, which I like. Hold on, let me find the recipe here. Where is it? Skillet chicken parm. Boom, yeah, that's the one. Okay. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Give me a shout out, say where you're watching from. Emily's from California. Hi, Emily. Hope you guys are healthy and happy there. It's a beautiful day here in Denver. I haven't been outside my condo, but it's lovely here. So that's the recipe we're cooking. It's a skillet chicken parmesan. And this recipe, you know, I like it because it's a little bit easier than like your classic chicken parm, which I also like to make, but has, you know, like, it's gonna have like all this stuff. You put everything into a huge baking dish. It takes hours to make. This is kind of like a shortened, quickened version. And the goal is you kind of make everything in one skillet, which is really nice for cleanup and everything. So, let's see here. This is kind of a weird recipe because it kind of happens in two phases. So I actually have like two versions of this recipe going, so you guys don't have to like sit here and watch me for 30 minutes. So weirdly, we're gonna start at the end of the recipe, and then we're gonna do the beginning of the recipe. So let me get the skillet that I have almost done and ready to show you that. Okay, so we're gonna make this all, but this is the end sort of skillet that I've made in advance. And in here is just like some onions, garlic, marinara sauce. We'll do this again in a minute. But what I wanna show you guys is the finishing step here. So I fried these, we're gonna do this too. And what you do is you kind of transfer these to your skillet, arrange them however you like. Boom. And then, so this is looking good. Now we're gonna do all this, don't worry, don't freak out on me. I just wanna get this in the oven so you guys can see the finished version here. So, and then what I like to do is a few slices of fresh mozzarella, mazza. And use the fresh stuff for this, don't use the low moisture stuff. The softer mozzarella is good for this. So just a few slices, you don't need a ton. And kind of just pull a little bit onto each little piece of chicken there. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Okay, this goes into a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. 12, 15, somewhere in there. Chicken will be cooked through at that point. Then we're gonna come back and cook. Hold please. All right, so that's in the oven. Don't let me forget about it. Hopefully the smoke alarm doesn't go off. Sometimes that happens. It's a wild card over here. I'm hungry. Fresh mozzarella is delicious. All right, so let's start from scratch. That's going in the oven. You wanna make this recipe, get some chicken cutlets, right? Or if you get the full chicken breasts, which are quite thick, you're gonna wanna cut them like kind of horizontally in half, or sometimes even in thirds. So you get these nice like thin cutlets. Then if you check out the recipe, this is super easy. You put each of those cutlets in flour, egg, and then a breadcrumb parm mixture. And then you end up with these. I already did this just because I didn't have enough room, but you know, that whole thing takes like 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. So there you go. You can also do that in advance. You can bread these and then keep them in the fridge if you want, so they're ready to go. And then we have our skillet. So I have some olive oil, probably about a cup, in a skillet here over like medium-high heat. If you want to do a little test, you can get a little breadcrumb, throw it in. Should kind of sizzle. You guys see this? I think you can. Try to get a little closer. There we go. All right, so this thing's always a little touchy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make this whole thing in one skillet, right? That's the whole idea. So you don't have a bunch of different dishes going on, anything like that. So step one is we wanna fry our chicken cutlets. Now, if you're doing like a bigger version of this, it might be nice to have a 12-inch skillet. That's what I usually make this in. This is a 10-inch skillet, so you can't quite fit everything and you might have to do it in batches. That's okay. By the way, if anybody has any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll try to answer them. This is, honestly, this might be one of the more complicated recipes I've ever done live. You know, it's got a lot going on, but it's still easier than the classic chicken parm, which has like a million steps and would take me like an hour and a half to cook live. So, I left my stove on over there. Don't do that, it's a safety hazard. Okay, so let's see. I think this is hot. Yeah, it feels hot. Let me get my tongs. Where are my tongs? Tongs. So hopefully we get a good sizzle here. So I breaded these in advance. You can see it, it's a very thin breading on these. It's not like fried chicken, right? Oh yeah, oh that's nice. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna kinda, yeah, see this small skillet, 2 of these fills it up. All right, let me get rid of all this. I cooked my pasta already. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chicken parm is one of my favorites, says Willow. Hey Willow, what's up? Kim's here. Hot and happy. North Carolina. Ooh, I like to go. I usually go to North Carolina for a vacation. We are not going this year for probably apparent reasons, but usually we go to Sunset Beach, North Carolina, and it is lovely. Okay, so the nice thing about this recipe is it actually finishes cooking everything in the oven. So you do not have to be totally concerned about cooking your chicken all the way through at this point. In fact, it's okay if it's a little bit undercooked. So really what you're looking to do is get a nice crust on the chicken. That's really all you're looking for there. Somebody is mowing their lawn outside and it's very loud. I hope you guys can all hear me. I can't do anything about that. It's extremely loud. Sorry about that, but I can't make them stop. So anyway, so we're gonna cook these for about 4 to 5 minutes aside, I would say. Kind of depends on the cutlet that you're using, the thickness of it, the heat of your pan, all that kind of stuff. But what, you know, you don't need a ton of oil is the thing. Like I think I had like maybe half a cup to a cup of oil in here. And I like to use olive oil for this recipe. You could use something else, I guess, if you wanted, but I think olive oil is pretty classic for an Italian recipe like this. Can't hear the lawnmower. Oh, good, that's good, Ann. I can hear it. It is driving me insane. So, okay. This is going nicely. Now, like I said, everything's gonna happen in this one skillet. So once these are done, we're gonna cook the sauce right away. It's gonna be a very quick transition. Yeah, tell that landscaping company there is live cooking happening up here. What's more important, mowing grass or live cooking videos? Actually, I don't know. Both are fun. I don't know. Both aren't that important in the grand scheme of things, I guess. Okay, while these are browning, I'm gonna do an onion. So I keep this sauce, again, look. Chicken parm can be complicated. I've done it. You know, you get the whole jarred tomatoes, you cook the sauce for hours, blah, 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 blah. This is a shortcut version. So I do take a few little shortcuts here, but I do like to add some onion and garlic because I just think those flavors are really nice. So, ooh, look at my chicken, it is. Okay, we're gonna flip these guys. These little pans, they can get quite hot. Oh yeah, okay. So again, I don't really care at this point if the chicken is cooked through. It'll probably be close to cooked through, but I'm not too worried about it because it's gonna finish in the oven. So I'm gonna get my sauce stuff ready, and like I say, I like a little bit of fresh onion, so I'm just gonna chop this guy. Just so it's ready to go. Ooh, I think the lawnmower stopped. Yes. Oh, it's back. And about half, I would do, I don't know. This recipe's kind of flexible. I mean, I usually do a half an onion, but you could do a full onion if you wanted. A clove or two of garlic never hurts, right? Just kind of smack this on the table there. And dice it up. Ah! Get out of there. Chop this up. And so here's the big shortcut I use for this recipe. Where to go? I actually use jarred tomato sauce for it, or jarred marinara. So, you know, if I'm doing the full chicken parm thing, the all-day version, I'll use canned tomatoes and I'll cook them down for hours and hours and hours or whatever to make like a really good fresh marinara sauce. This is not that recipe. This is meant to be made on a Tuesday, you know, 30 minutes, you're in and out. That's kind of the goal here. So one shortcut is to use a jarred sauce, which still ends up tasting delicious. Okay, these are pretty much done. So look at the color we got on those after just a few minutes, right? They're crispy, they're delicious. I'm gonna pull these out now. And like I said, it could be the case that I think they're actually probably pretty cooked through, but we're not eating them just like that. So it's fine if they're not. And then what I'm gonna do right away is I'm gonna take my oil and pour it off into a pan. I'm gonna do this over the sink so I don't get oil everywhere. Awesome. If you get any little oil drips on your pan, you can kind of wipe them up so you don't cause a fire like I almost did. Okay. And then right away, so I still left a little bit of oil. I don't know if you can see it. And then we're gonna go in with the onion and garlic right away. So this is the same skillet. I didn't wash it, I didn't do anything. Just in with the onion and the garlic. And this is kind of the real shortcut of this whole recipe is, and you'll see there's even a few little like, if I give this a stir, there's even some like breadcrumb business going on in there. That's totally fine. It's like extra flavors going on. So it's gonna make the sauce that much better because it has some of those browned bits from the chicken. Marilyn, you're funny. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so this cooks very fast, right? We have our onion, we have our garlic. Once this cooks for a minute or two, we're gonna add our sauce, and then we're gonna add our chicken back, and then we're gonna teleport back to what we did earlier, and it's gonna be all done. Now, does anybody have questions? I don't know, I haven't been really watching the comments. Let me take a quick look. Marilyn says, I hate when I tune in late. We're making skillet chicken parm. You probably caught on to that, Marilyn. Judy says, I've read olive oil's taste is gone at frying temps. So I think that is a misconception about olive oil. I actually like to fry in olive oil a lot. If I'm frying at a very high temperature, actually I've done it. If you use really good olive oil, it actually is fine. It doesn't burn. Some people think that, but usually what happens there is people are using lower grade olive oil that has a lot of particulate in it, and that's the stuff that burns. But really clean extra virgin olive oil, it works fine just like any other oil. It has actually a quite high smoke point. So that's kind of a misconception. If I'm frying at a really high temp, I actually will use like avocado oil sometimes. But yeah, so okay, Ann says, is it okay to slice the cutlets thinner? I mean, you can. This is about as, I slice these myself. That's about as thin as I could get it without like cutting it into different pieces. But yeah, I mean, there's really no rule to it. I mean, you can cut it the thickness that you like. Let's see, Will says, do you leave just enough oil in the pan to keep the bottom covered? Oh, good question. It's actually less. So I didn't even have the bottom covered of the pan. It's probably like a tablespoon of oil. You don't want a lot. Actually, I probably left too much in there because I was kind of hurried. It's fine if there's a little extra. It'll just go into the sauce, but you only need like a tablespoon left over in the pan. So you can pour off all the extra that you have there. Okay, so this is cooked for a little bit. You know, if you wanted to right now, you could season these a little bit. Maybe a little pinch of salt, right? Something like that. It's good. And then we're gonna add in our sauce. So again, this is just jarred marinara. Nothing fancy, but we're jazzing it up a little bit with some fresh onion and stuff. And if this, I feel like jarred sauce is always a little bit on the thick side. So I like to add just like a little splash of water to it. Woo. All right, so there is your sauce coming together. And we are just gonna let this simmer for a minute or two now. And then we're gonna teleport to what we did before with the finished chicken, which hopefully is done in the oven. We'll see. So this just needs to cook until it's like simmer. I mean, the sauce is already done, right? Because we used jarred sauce, so it's pretty much done. But you know, it's good to combine flavors. Let's see. For how long does the onion and garlic have to simmer? I simmer until they turn translucent, but not brown. So usually that's like 3 to 4 minutes. You don't want them to brown at all for a sauce like this. And then Judy says, do you prefer Newman sauce? I actually prefer Rouse sauce. This is what I had in my pantry. So, and honestly, for a recipe like this that has a lot going on, it's got a lot of flavors, I would just use whatever you have, honestly. I wouldn't overthink it. So, but if I'm just serving like pasta with a jarred sauce, I usually try to find Rouse. That's my favorite. Okay, so I'm gonna teleport into the future. So you get it? We were here. Then what we did at the beginning is we added these into here, and then we covered them with fresh mozzarella, right? Cool. I'm gonna turn this off now, and we're going to teleport to the oven and see how our finished one looks. I think it looks pretty good. Let's see. Okay. Ta-da! So this baked for, I think about 15 minutes is about how long we were doing that whole thing. And it looks freaking perfect. So what you're looking for here is the chicken should be nicely browned. The cheese on top is beautifully melted. And the sauce is like bubbly and kind of thick, which is awesome. So you know, if you're worried about it, I'm sure this chicken is cooked through, but if you're worried about it, you could get a little one of these Insta-Read guys, find a thick piece, beautiful, beautiful. Test a few spots if you're worried, but I mean, this was in the oven long enough that no problem on that. And so let's plate this guy up, huh? If you want to make it pretty, which always helps, get a little fresh basil. Yeah, fresh basil up in there. Woo! Ta-da! So this is my finished skillet chicken parm, all made in one skillet, super easy, and you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of dishes, which is kind of nice. So let's make a plate real fast and we'll try it. So I like to use just normal spaghetti to serve mine. I've seen crazy stuff. You can serve this with rice, you can serve it, put it on a Subway sandwich, put it on a loaf of bread, delicious. You can just eat it like this for kind of like a low carb version, I guess. It's fine. So I like this thin spaghetti. And then just grab one of these little guys. Oh yeah. I like your spatula thing. Yeah, this is one of my favorite spatulas. I forgot. It has a thing on it. Earlywood. Earlywood is the name of the company. And I like it because it's nice and sturdy and easy to wash. So it's one of my favorite spatulas. I use it literally every day. So here's our finished plate. So that was, according to my watch, 20 minutes. Now I did do I breaded the chicken and stuff in advance, but otherwise you guys pretty much saw everything. So this is our finished skillet chicken parm. It's absolutely doable in a weeknight. Pretty cool, pretty easy, very delicious. I'm gonna try a quick bite. Oh man, beautiful. Beautiful. Crispy. Delicious. I'm not going to tell you that it's 100% as good as the all-day classic chicken parm thing, but honestly, it's like 95%. It's pretty darn close, and it doesn't take an afternoon of your life. It's really a really nice, fun recipe, and my family loves it. Pasta, sauce, some chicken, delicious. Let's see. Is there any way to finish it off in the crock pot? Oh boy, my oven is out of order. I don't think so, because my worry with the crock pot is you would lose the crispiness of it. I would say, if I didn't have an oven, what I would do is I would actually just, oh yeah, there you go. That's the one. That's the spatula. If I didn't have an oven, what I would do is I would fry the chicken like I did and just make sure it's cooked all the way through, right? So maybe a minute or two longer to make sure it's cooked through. I would finish the sauce, I would add the chicken back in, cheese, and then just put the cover on the skillet for a few minutes to melt the cheese and call it good. So I would cook all the things individually a little bit longer just on the stovetop and not worry about putting them in the oven, and it would be 95% there. So you might lose some of the breading because you're gonna cover it, it's gonna kind of steam, but it'll still be delicious. That's what I would do. Anyway, yeah, so this recipe, I love it. Hope you all liked it. Boom. Skillet chicken parm for the win, right? Hope you guys like this. Again, my name is Nick, and I write machismo.com. I also write for simplyrecipes.com. You can follow me on Instagram, ask me some questions. I hang out on the internet a lot, so I'm usually around somewhere. And hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Try this recipe, it's awesome. See you later, bye.